Hi, I'm SonicBlu Darkfault, and this is Grilling with SonicBlu. Today I've got a really great meal for you this time, as I'm going to show you how to make something very, very interesting, but something very common. Burgers. Burgers on the grill. Let's go inside and show you exactly what ingredients I'm going to be using with my burgers. Come on. Okay, let's see what we have for today. We have some ground turkey that I've marinated in the refrigerator with its own seasonings, and I've used Chef Paul Prudhomme's Poultry Magic because I'm using ground turkey. Poultry Magic will do the trick, and you only need this. You don't need to add anything extra like garlic powder, garlic salt, onion salt, anything like that. It's already in here. And what a beautiful aroma. Yes, I will definitely be highly endorsing Chef Paul Prudhomme seasonings for your dishes, definitely. And you don't even have to go to New Orleans to get it too. You can get it at local grocery stores. You can look online. Look up Chef Paul Prudhomme. It is, he has these magic seasoning blends, and they do work magic. I've used this for years, and I do recommend this to anybody and everybody. And it's not spicy either. It's just very flavorful. Well, let's see what we got here. Well, to make good grilled cheeseburgers, we of course need the meat, or in this case the ground turkey. Now, I've used a lot of that seasoning over there, plus I sprinkled over the top with some pepper, ground pepper. And we're just letting that sit for a little bit. And I let it marinate in the refrigerator for about 3 hours minimum. You can let it do it overnight, 3 hours at the least amount of time. Well, let's see. Of course, we got our tomatoes, which we've sliced up thinly, and we got our lettuce. We got our barbecue sauce. Yeah, we're going to be actually using barbecue sauce, which would really go good if we had some bacon. But I don't have any bacon at the moment, so oh well. But you can have this without the bacon. But we're using nothing better than Sweet Baby Ray's. And for an extra added bonus, if you want a little kick to your barbecue sauce, you add a little Jack Daniels to it. Just a little bit, not too much. Because you want this for flavor, not to get drunk on. If you want to get drunk, drink the bottle. Alright. What am I missing? We got the meats, we got the tomatoes, we got the lettuce, got the seasoning, got the sauce. Grill outside.
Cheese?
Cheese! You can't have a cheeseburger without cheese. Now, a consumer said that he went to the store yesterday and got me some real good cheddar cheese. Sharper the better, too. So let's just see where it is. Consumer, I don't see the cheese anywhere. It's in the dough. Well, it's in the what? It's in the refrigerated dough. What, this? Yeah. Consumer, this is shredded cheese. I needed the singles. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that? You go to the store and you get me this cheese, and all you can say is sorry about that? What am I going to do? I can't put it on the grill. It's just going to go everywhere. I can't mix it in with the meat, because then that cheese that gets exposed to fire is going to char first, and you don't want that in your burger. Come on. I know. Perfect idea. If you only have this shredded cheese, there is a thing you can do. There is something you can do if you only have just this shredded cheese. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the middle. So that way it's completely concealed by the meat, and you don't have to worry about your cheese being charred. Now, what we're going to do is I have gone ahead and also added 1 packet of Lipton soup mix. Lipton onion soup mix. Then added just a tiny bit of water to get it all dissolved. Just a tiny bit is all it needs. Maybe even about a tablespoon of water. That you don't need much. And then, to help hold the meat together, I added about 2 to 3 egg whites. See, click on. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice big ball like that. And this is how you make your homemade burger patties. And you just take the ball, and you mash it down, you mash it down. You make them kind of small there, because we're using 2 pounds of this stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to make them kind of thin like this. And then, once that is done, we are going to take all of our patties and just admire the way they look. Nice, even distribution of peppercorns. You don't see the seasonings or the onion because it's blended really good in there. Now, what we're going to do is going to take our cheeses. Might probably need a little bit more, just to be on the safe side. So what we're going to do, now that we have clean hands, we don't have to worry about cross-contamination, don't we? So take your cheese, especially the shredded kind. Now, if you want to, you can bunch this up and make cheese balls, but okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. If you want to, this is optional. You take a whole bunch of, you just take a pinch, just take a little pinch of cheese, and you bunch it up together in your fingers like this. And this is also how you can make homemade cheese balls too. Don't tell anybody, that's a little kitchen secret of mine. And there you go, there's a little ball of cheese. And we're just going to flatten it into a disc like that. And we're going to do it again. Just make a whole bunch of these up, because you probably enjoy the nice big chunks of cheese rather than just having them shredded all over the place. You could bunch it up, make it nice and flat, and just stick it in various places on one patty, and then you cover it with the other one. So that way, and when you cover them, you will be mashing them together like you did before, only this time you're not going to reshape and reform it. You're just going to put it over the other existing patty, well, with the cheese. You know what, that's going to take too long anyway. You can do it that way, you can have it just straight on there shredded. This is a lot quicker. It's almost like putting pizza together, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is so much quicker, but if you want to get fancy, you know, bunch it together if you got the time. But really, I want to get the show on the road. I don't want to be here all night. Take a patty that kind of resembles the size aspect of it. Take both of these, pick it up, and there you have your cheese in the middle of your patties. Now what we're going to do is going to mash these together into one patty. Your cheese will remain in the middle. And if there are any peeking out on the sides, just pull them out and stick them on another patty. And remember, do not eat the cheese right off the raw meat. That would be stupid. Remember, cross-contamination, your meat isn't cooked yet. And I know some people out there wouldn't mind eating raw meat. And if you do, God have mercy on your health. Okay, so when you make sure that your patties are well formed into one massive patty like that, and these will shrink on the grill. Make sure it is completely sealed all the way around. If you get like one or two off the side here, that's okay. Most of your cheese is inside where it counts. And we're just going to put this off the side there. In fact, if you want to take the thinner edges and kind of bunch it up like this, make it a little bit more compact, because we do need some room on that plate. And kind of just go around like that. That'll ensure that all of your edges will be sealed and no cheese will leak out of it. And just give it a nice good patting. Okay, that kind of sounds and feels unusual, but there you go. There is a sealed. Nobody will ever suspect there's cheese in here. Aren't we sneaky? Ooh! Who's that character on the Flintstones that does that? Ooh, aren't we sneaky?
Oh crap, I can't remember.
Yeah, you remember him now.
I can't remember.
That's like his catchphrase. Ooh, aren't we sneaky?
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, it's not a common character. He shows up in once in a while, and he always does stuff like that. It's like he always pops up whenever somebody's doing something.
Usually in most of the episodes I've seen of the Flintstones, I have never seen that, so I don't know.
There's 4 patties there. We turned 8 patties into 4 patties. There's some extra cheese in there, so what we're going to do is going to give this a little push into one of these patties here. Because nothing is wasted when I do cooking. Or at least I try not to waste food when I do cooking. You ever do that in the kitchen? You ever like try to make sure that you don't waste any food? That's a good rule of thumb. If you don't know whether or not you can use it, you will use it one way or another, or save it for leftovers, or just start over and do it again. But hopefully it won't get to that point, because that'll take forever for you to cook your cuisines. See, some of that's coming out there, so you just use some of the meat to fold it back into place there. You do kind of have to give it a slap here. I'm going to use my finger to get around the edge here. And that ensures your meat will be sealed just the way we need it. Alright. There's a little bit of cheese on the outside, but no matter. Your cheese is now inside the patties. Now I can wash my hands again. Do this a lot. You're going to need to. Especially working with raw meats, and when we go outside and throw these on the grill, I'm washing my hands again. Anytime your hand comes into contact with raw meat, wash. Plain and simple. And now, because you were clean, this cheese is still good to go back into that bag if you need it. But if your hands were gunky with all that meat, you'd never be able to use that cheese. It's a waste of food. Now, come on out to the grill. Let's see what we can do. All right. Now, let me take this. Okay, now, so we got our Chef Paul's, and we're going to set this right out here. And we're going to wait till our fire is nice and hot, because we got to wait for it a little bit to get the fire to develop. And while we're doing that, we can put our cheese away. I mentioned earlier that you can actually take some shredded cheese and make cheese balls out of them. It's very simple to do. What you want to do is you want to get a nice, good, rounded, just as much cheese as you can hold in your fingers. Maybe a little less than that because it's kind of stacked. About like that much. Okay, if you got a big hand, you're going to be making some big cheese balls. But, you know, mine's fairly small, so I find that kind of unusual. I have big, long arms, small hands. Maybe I should have been a T-Rex. I'm a Dilophosaurus, so maybe our hands are supposed to be small and the rest of our arms and larger? I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't answer that.
But anyway, so you take your cheese and you squish it all the way around and bingo, cheese balls. Now, I've got some chopped almonds, roll it around the chopped almonds, and you've got yourself an instant cheese ball. Delicious, good, great for parties, and it doesn't cost you anything more than a bag of cheese. That's it. That is your expense. And these go for like $1.99 at Kroger or any grocery store. And you can make these things. These things that you go to a hotel and you pay $6-7 for a platter with these things on it. You can make it yourself for little to no money a day. And I really wish I had some almond that I can roll this around in. But I think it's just good by itself. And then your guests are going to say, where did you get these delicious cheese balls? I made them myself. Watch the heads turn. All right. That's their cheese. Forgive me if I start talking the rest of the episode like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the cheese we're going to be needing for our dish. We can put this back in, and I can thank Consumer for getting the wrong type of cheese, but that's okay. He even wrote my name on the back. Thank you, Consumer. And this is going to go on right before we pull off our patties. Now, I have to make sure that we have the right utensil for the job too. Now, since we don't have the barbecue spatulas, we will need a spatula for patties. And since this one is the only metal one we have, do not use a coated spatula on a grill. If you're working with open fire, you will need metal. This one, though, however, if you don't know what you're doing, then don't even attempt doing this at home. This is a small spatula. But since I have lots of experience grilling and lots of experience around fire and food, I know what I'm doing. So I don't mind using this. But for you folks at home, if you're going to do some outdoor grilling, invest in one of the longer spatulas. You're going to need it. So what I'm going to do is we are going to carefully place our patty, not directly over the fire. I'm going to just place it right here. A nice, usable area that's nice and hot. It's been warmed up by the fire here. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. What I'm doing here is I'm kind of reshaping the patty into more of a round shape. And anywhere I see just a little on the unusual side, I'm just going to push right back into the burger here. So that way we don't have too thin of an edge. And we want them nice and thick around the edges here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help that along with a spatula here and get on all sides to make this as thick of a burger as possible. I'm going to reach for my bottle of Chef Paul Prudhomme. What I'm going to do here, let's just give it a nice little tap. Don't need too much. Okay. Oh, these are going to be so delicious. Chef Paul Prudhomme, you've done it again. I'm definitely going to have to send you a Christmas card this year. Okay. Now, let's prepare our hamburger buns. Now, I got a little tip for you. If you're using hamburger buns, I have double packages here, but we'll only be using one. So with your buns, we can toast our buns right there on the grill. And I'll show you how to do that. Now, you don't want to put the bun straight on to the grill without at least dusting it with a little butter. So that way, your bread won't go too dry and too crispy. And what we're going to use, you remember in our last episode of Grilling with SonicBlu when we had the big honkin' beef briskets, and I used this as a dipping sauce for our artichoke. Well, I still have some of that butter and basil combination left, so I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up in the microwave and get it a little melted, and then I'm going to use our garlic, butter, and basil on those buns and throw them on the grill. And boy, is it going to be out of this world. Now, you'll notice that if you do store your butter mix, it's going to be nice and hard. And especially if you have a plastic bottle like this, don't ever put metal in the microwave, by the way. It's a bad idea. So, start it off at 35 seconds. That's all it takes. Alright. Now, you might want to, if you're using a lot of basil, you might want to actually get a wider nozzle. Because you'll notice that if you try to squirt with this, most of your basil will get clogged, and you'll have to give it a good generous squeezing. That's all we're going to do. Just take a little generous dollop of that. What we're going to do is we're going to use another burger bun to spread it. There you go. Look at that. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing here. Put a nice dollop bun. And then use the burger bun to spread it. No fuss, no muss. And look, you do both sides of it too. And it reduces on the mess. You don't have to use a brush. See, innovation in the kitchen. It works. And you just give it a twist. Instant spread. Look at that. And see, now you don't have to use that one anymore. That's good for three good uses. And you just take that, just give it a twist, slide it off. There you go. Hey, got it on the first try. I like that. Right on. Alright. And this will give you just the right amount of butter. There we go. Take this. Now you want to press it down before you spread, because by doing so, it won't get all your butter slung all over the place. And then you got a little bit off the corner here, so we're just going to fill up the gaps wherever you don't see butter. There. Take this one now. Same thing to it. Just kind of like blot it in there. There we go. And that is pretty much the easiest way to butter your buns. Isn't that amazing? And only one drop of butter landed on the top of the stove. So cleanup is a snap. And it's even more of a bigger snap if there's no mess.
Yeah, look at the look at the smoke coming off of that.
Ooh. Now we're starting to see cheese come out of there, like an eruption. There we go. Okay. Now you can put this over the fire to help cook it a little bit faster. Look at that cheese. Try not to squeeze down too much too, because you're going to lose a lot of that cheese. See, the heat will cause that cheese to erupt on its own, so you really don't need to help it along. And this one just slid right up there. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to need help with that. See, and look at that. The juices just come right up. Come on, and right over there. And when you see it getting nice and smoky, that means time to turn me over. So if you see smoke coming from there, yeah, you know you're almost done to flip over your meats. Now we're done with this now, so let's go ahead and put this back away, because I don't want the whole public to beat it past my door thinking I got Chef Paul Prudhomme for everybody. That's mine. See? It's got my name right on it. See? Right there. You can barely see it there because of the grease, but look. I marked it with my name. It's my Chef Paul Prudhomme seasoning.
But it's easily going to be rubbed off.
It can be if you work with a lot of juice and sauce.
Yeah.
Now, those burgers will be coming up very soon off the grill. So what you want to do is you want to allow enough time for your buns to toast. Toast? No, not you. For God's sakes, not you. Also, don't try this at home too. I used to work in a kitchen. I know what I'm doing. Come on.
Look at that. It looks like a cross.
Doesn't it though? Okay, now. Chances are, if you don't know what you're doing, you'll drop a lot of food. What we're going to do is we're just going to put the buns right on the top grill, on the coldest parts. You don't want it directly over the fire. And if you do put it over on the top, when the fire is this big, just go ahead and turn that down to the low setting. There we go. We don't need that fire leaping up like that. Especially now when you're working with putting your buns up on the grill.
It's spitting at you too.
Yeah, it'll do that because of the juices is still causing the fire to agitate. Okay, you're directly over that fire. Okay. Remember, experience. Don't handle fire if you don't know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. Now, I know that looked very dangerous to do. But trust me, I'm a professional. A professional what? Good question. I just don't have an answer yet. Professional lunatic.
Oh, that's one of them. But look how many voices you...
Yeah, I mean...
Look how many you have so many voices for characters.
How many do I have now? 15, 16, 17?
Probably about that.
Getting up into the 20s now?
Yeah.
See that? Perfectly toasted. That's what you want.
Nice.
So pull those off the top grills. There's a
Whoa.
little chart of that one.
Wow.
Right over the fire. You can't help that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at our patties. There you go. Look at that. When it's nice and... See how it's turning red? That's the exact color you want. Now these are pretty much ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add sauce to these two patties. The cheese right there in the middle, and it's not charred. Even though it's oozing out the sides, it's not charred. So now what we're going to do now is I'm going to grab my barbecue sauce and my pastry brush. So come on into the kitchen, and I will grab them. Now we're going to start working Sweet Baby Ray's. Anytime I do grilling, barbecuing of any kind, I would like to prefer to get Sweet Baby Ray's. It's not always going to be happening like that. This is going to be barbecue burgers now because the sauce is going on it. Now Sweet Baby Ray's will have a little opening there on the top there so you can squirt it and it doesn't go everywhere. Observe. You can apply it evenly over your patty and just give it a nice daub with your pastry brush. Now once you've sauced up all your patties, try to get everywhere. Don't try not to leave any place out of its sauces, because you will need. And go down the sides too, like that. You probably won't be doing the bottoms of them. If you want to, you can flip them over, but I just prefer to do around the sides and the top. That's really what you need. And that's going to go right back into the flavor now. Also a good idea, if you have some mushrooms, fresh mushrooms, never use canned for grilling. But use fresh mushrooms, you can use portobello, you can use regular, you can use shiitake, you can use any kind of mushrooms that you see in the stores. And add that over to the top after you're done saucing them. I didn't get any mushrooms this time, so I couldn't do a barbecue mushroom burger. But I definitely highly recommend mushrooms and onions and bell peppers or anything else that you want to put on there. But since I can't eat peppers, I will have to leave them off. But you leave this down here for about a good minute or two, just for the sauce to go ahead, or until it starts getting smoky. And when it starts getting smoky, you know it's almost time to pull them up. Hi, we're back, and this is Sound Raccoon, and he's about ready to try what we just made. We're grilling with SonicBlu. Cheese in the middle, cheeseburgers on the grill, and there they are. So Sound Raccoon, if you will, pick up that plate and dig into a burger and show the camera and the world what you think of a SonicBlu original recipe.
This is going to be an interesting question. It's just trying to fit this around my mouth. That's going to be the interesting thing.
Yes, it is.
And tomatoes deciding to fall off.
Yeah, those are big tomatoes.
Yeah, they are. They're big. Man, I don't know. It's like you have to have a big mouth in order to.
Steven Tyler would love these burgers.
Yeah, I would say so.
Whoa, look at that. Very dirty. Very messy.
Dang it.
You lose some of the cheese out of there. Okay, so we learned that. Of course, that's going to happen. But did you get any of the cheese at all? Other than all over yourself?
That's a good question. And it's hot.
Other than the fact that the cheese kind of escapes out of the side like you're biting into a jelly donut.
Well, I guess that's to be expected, isn't it?
It's kind of unavoidable. Yeah, so, yeah, if you make this at home, folks, expect your cheese to dribble out of the patty. But it does, you will have it on your plate, and you will be able to sacrifice some of the cheese to, I don't know, kind of dip your burger into it when you get enough of an accumulation on your plate. But of what you did taste, what did you think of it?
That was good. I did actually taste some of the cheese. Other than the fact of, please not show that one part on the show.
No, that's going to be a blooper.
I was going to say that might be a good idea.
Or we could show it on the show just to show that people will be expected to lose their cheese.
Yeah, people are going to probably laugh that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, unfortunately, It's unavoidable, especially when you take a bite. Make sure you're over the plate before
Yes,
you do it.
please do so. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, SonicBlu's reaction for his own recipe that he's never tried before.
Yeah, let's see if it happens to you.
So now that I saw it happen to you, I know what to expect.
Yeah, why do you think you had me try it first? Because of the fact that you wanted to see what would happen. Oh, that's not fair. It didn't do it to you, but it did it to me. What the heck? Well, you didn't even get any of the cheese in there either.
No, it's there.
Okay.
Well, I taste barbecue. The meat, which has a nice tender smoky flavor. Really smoky. The cheese, this might have been the one where all the cheese escaped out of it before I pulled it off, but it could also be in another part of the patty.
That's probably why.
Very juicy. I taste a lot of the onion. Very tasty. Very tasty. Oh boy. You know, I just got another flavor. Okay, some of the char, but you don't really see, or you don't really detect that it's char, because the meat has been smoked. Therefore, even when you bite into the charred parts, and it's saucy enough or juicy enough where it's not even dry, and all of that flavor disguises the charred, burned feeling that you usually get when you usually grill meats. And a lot of that char did come from the bun there. As you can see, I've reached the char part. But with all the flavors going in, you don't even notice it. This is amazing. I think I've outdone myself this time. But next time I'm grilling with SonicBlu, we might come away with a better recipe. But you never know. So you can download this recipe at ohiopoppets.org, or just put it together yourself and see what you can come up with on your own. That's the beauty part about this type of recipe. If you follow the same techniques that I have, adding on your own flavors, just as long as you moderate it properly, because you don't want to do too many vegetables, but you also want to weigh against how much meat you'll be using. If you're using 3 pounds, then yeah, you can use a little more vegetable. 2 pounds, like I've used, you don't really want to do too much or that big of pieces. You got to work with what you got, but you got to be, smart when you're working with meats and vegetables at the same time. Well, I am definitely sold on this recipe. Raccoon, any final words?
That was actually good. Just make sure next time to let the cheese cool down before you try to bite into one.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
Because
you definitely want to allow at least 5 minutes for this thing to cool.
Because if you don't do that, then you're gonna have what happened to me.
But yeah, trying new recipes. I bet the same thing happened to Julia Child when she started cooking. But she learned her mistakes and became a really renowned French chef. And you can become a great chef too in your own right. All you got to do is just be smart in the kitchen, and you can come up with your own recipes like I have. And this is truly amazing. You should really try this yourself. I mean, I am not lying here. Both Sound Raccoon and I both agree that this really hits home really good, and it hits the spot like you wouldn't believe. This is grilling at its finest, and this has been Grilling with SonicBlu. The belch doesn't lie. Nothing burps up better than grilled food.
For complete recipes, send an email to sonicblue@yahoo.com. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're not cooking good, you're not eating good. Bye for now.